With me is Tom Clark, PBA Commissioner. Tom, PBA Tour has had a lot of changes over the last few years. What are some of the exciting things that you've seen happen?
Well, I think the first thing that comes to mind is the style of play and the players that are succeeding in the PBA. They're very young. They're very exciting. They bowl in ways that people never really would have even imagined a couple decades ago.
I love the tornado wind-up. That's what I call it.
Well, these two-hand bowlers and also just one-hand bowlers that are able to put more revolutions and speed on a bowling ball than anyone's ever seen in the history of the game. And the fact they're coming from all over the world. Like, just of the top 8 players we have here, we have people from Sweden, Australia, and England, and of course everywhere in the U.S. And so you have young players, you have you have young players, you have players from all over the world, and you have exciting styles of play. The really big thing from a business standpoint that's going on with the PBA is we've been on ESPN since 1979. It's been a long-standing, great relationship. But we have this opportunity in 2019 to move to Fox Sports. So you'll find the PBA on Fox next year, and it will mean a lot of improvements, more bowling on television, more bowling on broadcast television on Big Fox and on FS1. And then you'll see different amounts of live bowling on television. So we're really, really excited about that new relationship.
Well, you know, there's something to be said for bowling on cable, but anytime you bowl on network TV, the Fox, the NBC, CBS, in this case it is Fox, that's exciting because those are the first stations that you see. It doesn't matter whether it's satellite, cable, or whatever, and that's a huge thing because it seems like when the PBA lost ABC many years ago with Chris Schenkel and them, things were different. Now maybe this is a great opportunity for you. Yeah,
well, that was a really sad moment in the history of our game, and when we lost ABC in 1996, and this is our 60th anniversary of the PBA. It was founded in 1958 in Akron, and in our 60th year, to be able to make this announcement about a rebirth of the game and a chance to be back on broadcast television is really special, and it feels like this is going, this year we've been celebrating the 60 most memorable moments in the history of the PBA, and one of them actually was the last show on ABC. One of them was the first show on ABC, and I think that 20 years down the road, 25 years down the road, when they look back at the 75th anniversary or the 100th anniversary of the PBA, this move to Fox will be one of those great moments in the history of the game.
This arena is extremely historic. In this very room, when I was in middle school, way back when dinosaurs roamed the earth, I met Don Carter. And Dick Weber, he wasn't even, they had the great and the greatest tournament. Dick Weber was still among the great. And so, I met, I can say Don Carter, Earl Anthony, Mark Roth, everybody bowled here. And the ladies bowled with the men, and they had their own tournament. And so that when you have, great moment where you got the PBA finals happening in here, and there's a lot of excitement, it kind of all ties together in a nice, neat little bow.
This is a great place to be back during our 60th anniversary. And 10 years ago, when we first started the World Series of Bowling, this was the location we had the first one, and it was really an awesome event and an awesome undertaking, and what really gave it wings was the fact we were in this historic building. And I can remember looking back at the old photos, and they had the team event here before the PBA ever existed, and the beer teams would compete, and teams from different cities would compete in this arena when they really only had 4 lanes in the arena, and it was set up more for
there's pictures on the wall out there.
The pictures are awesome, and now we filled it in with more lanes, but it's still, really, I think arguably, if not definitely, the best place to watch bowling is in this arena, and we love to do television in here. So we'll be back for years to come.
A couple more questions, but you've done some exciting things. I think the Japan Cup that's been created. I like the celebrity tournament that's being done. Those are some nice niche things. What kind of feedback are you getting from the bowling community?
Well, I think with everything, when you do something new, it's always, there's a little bit of a fear of, well, what is this? And maybe we don't like this, and this isn't tradition. But I think in almost all cases, people, get used to things, and then they realize that this is really, really beneficial to the game. I mean, like the Chris Paul celebrity event, we have such a young audience for that show, and then when I come here and I see the young fans that we have, I didn't see that many young fans when I first started with the PBA, and that's really, really exciting to me. And I feel like when we do exciting events that include celebrities and other athletes having fun bowling and really respecting the PBA players, and when we start things like the PBA League, which shows the PBA players competing as part of a team, and you see their personalities come out a little bit more, those things are attractive to kids. And then the kids get to know a young player like a E.J. Tackett or a Marshall Ken or a Jesper Svensson, and these guys are only 22, 23, 24 years old themselves, and they want to come out and meet them. And I've seen so many kids here this weekend getting their pictures taken with the pros, and it's really great to see.
Yeah. A final question, I think going back to the network TV thing, I remember when the PBA Tour had a lot of outside sponsors that had nothing to do with bowling. I mean, and hopefully getting back to the network, you can start seeing the car companies coming back, the beer companies, and other people that see the beneficial relationship, and hopefully that's what you see. Is that part of the model or part of the thinking that went behind that?
Absolutely. You're right on target. I think probably the best part of the new Fox relationship with the PBA is that Fox itself will be selling the advertising and sponsorships into our programming, and that's different from what we've had in the past with ESPN, where the sales responsibility fell to us. And when we were just trying to sell into specific programming that was on ESPN, sometimes you run into situations where you talk to sponsors that already advertise on ESPN, so they didn't need to get on ESPN that way. Now with Fox, they're already talking to all these different corporations and companies and businesses that want to sponsor and advertise on sports networks, and to be able to include the PBA in the portfolio, I think is going to be the answer to the problem of bringing people from outside the industry in to not only support the game, but use our game to reach big audiences.
Well, it doesn't. We are a runway. Well, Tom, that's right. That's okay, though, Tom. It must be good.
Busy. Yeah, I like that it's busy. If we
busy's good, folks.
If we were standing here and nobody was here, I'd be really nervous. But we're in this arena and it's packed with fans, so they can walk in front all they want.
As we wrap it up, it must be great to be the CEO. And next time I see you, I'm sure that we're going to have even better things to talk about. So, really, Tom, thanks a lot for coming on to Detroit Sports Media, and we'll certainly make sure that we get that out there. One final thing, I've talked to some of the players in a closing salvo. They are excited about what's going on. I've heard 3 or 4 of them talk. I was over talking to someone, Andrew Anderson. I did a feature story. We have that coming. And he and some of the other bowlers are so excited, saying, we are going in the right direction.
I love it.
So I'm going to compliment you going out. And so back to Detroit Sports Media. Thanks.